In this video, we'll see how to use the slope formula with a focus on zero slope and undefined slope. As a reminder, lowercase m is the representation of the slope, where on the numerator we have the y difference and on the denominator we have the x difference. Subtracting the y coordinates over subtraction of the x coordinates. What you need is 2 points where you use the slope formula. From the graph, we said the zero slope is the representation of the line that is horizontal. But let's see how to use coordinates and slope formula to confirm that answer. So on the horizontal line, there are lots of different points. All you need is 2 to calculate the slope. So you can read any points off the line from where you prefer. From the negative side, from the positive side, it really doesn't matter which points you read off this line. So let's say I have negative 4, 2, or I can use this one 2, 2, or I can even use this one 0, 2, or I can use this one 5, 2. So you see how the y coordinate is always the same because the line goes horizontally through the y-axis in location 2. Any 2 points that you like, you can substitute in the formula. So let's say I'm going to use this one, it's the last 2. And subtract the y coordinates on the numerator, 2 minus 2. And subtract the x coordinates on the denominator. That would be 2 minus 5. On the numerator, 2 minus 2 is 0. And on the denominator, 2 minus 3 is negative 3. If we're dividing 0 by any number, the answer is always 0. So the slope of the line is 0. On the vertical line, we said from graph it's undefined slope. So non-existent slope or no slope. How does that look with numbers? So pick any numbers throughout the line, which ones doesn't matter, close or far, as long as they belong to the vertical line. So any numbers. I have 3, 3, let's say I want this one, or maybe 3, 1, or maybe 3, 0. Or maybe you want 3, negative 2, or 3, negative 3, or 3, negative 4, doesn't matter, as long as all those points belong to the line. X value is the same in the vertical situation because the vertical line goes through x on the 3 on the x-axis. So x-axis is always 3 on the vertical line. 2 points, any 2 points, can be used to find the slope, where on the numerator we subtract the y coordinates, 3 minus 1. On the denominator we subtract the x coordinates, that'd be 3 minus 3. 3 minus 1, 2 on the numerator, and then 3 minus 3, 0 on the denominator. Right here on the denominator we cannot divide by 0. In math, division by 0 does not exist. So we say cannot divide by 0. This is undefined slope or not existent. So the slope does not exist. And let's see a confirmation on the calculator as well. Like, what does the calculator say if I want to divide 2 by 0? The calculator says error. That is not possible. In math, division by 0 does not exist. Let's see a few more examples. If the graph is not given, the question is given through directions that we have to figure out how to find the slope from points negative 5, negative 3, and 6, negative 3. If the coordinates are small, the best way is to graph them on the coordinate plane and see visually what kind of line you see, horizontal or vertical. So I'm going to do that first. Negative 5, negative 3, negative 5, negative 3, and then 6, negative 3, 6, negative 3. By connecting, I see a horizontal line. Direction of my line is horizontal. That's when I have zero slope. Another option is to use the slope formula. So the visual way, horizontal line slope is 0. And then if I use those same points and plug them in the formula, so my points were -5, -3, and 6, -3. The y-coordinates will be subtracted on the numerator. So the y-coordinates on the numerator, we have -3 minus -3. So subtracting a -3. In the same order, I subtract my x-coordinates on the denominator. So -5, and I subtract 6. -3 plus 3 will be 0, and -5 combined with -6 will be -11. If the 0 is on the numerator, you can divide. 0 divided by -11 is 0. So the slope is 0, either by looking at the graph or by calculating through slope formula. Find the slope from these 2 points if you have 5, -3, and 5, 6. So let's plot first 5, -3, and then 5, 6. By connecting these 2 points, I see a vertical line. A vertical line has undefined slope. If I use the same points and plug them in formula, the points are 5, -3, and 5, 6. First, on the numerator, we subtract the y-coordinates. -3, subtract 6. And then on the denominator, I'll subtract the x-coordinates, 5 minus 5. -3 combined with -6 is -9. Add the numbers, keep the sign, and 5 minus 5 is 0. So we cannot divide by 0. If we cannot divide by 0, the slope is undefined or does not exist. Division by 0 does not exist. Slope does not exist. When it comes to bigger numbers and we need to find the slope, the graphing is helpful by sketching and visualizing your direction. So the numbers that are big, we can still sketch. Let's say I go by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and -10, 20, 30, and negative down 10, 20. So up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And then I try to sketch this to see the location. So -23, and then 25.6. So -23, 10, 20, 25.6. What is good to observe is that the y variable is the same in both points. So here when I plot 77, 1, 2, that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 7, and then again 25.6, it means that up or for y, we have the same value. If we go up for y the same value, then we have a horizontal line, and the slope of the horizontal line is 0. Let's see that in our slope formula. So the points that I had, here we have y values, 25.6, and I have to subtract the same one, 25.6. And then -23 is my x value, and I have to subtract 77. if we're subtracting two y values that are exactly the same, on the numerator we have 0, and on the denominator I have negative 100. Division, if I divide 0 by any number, I always get 0. So my slope is 0. We can use m, which is the lowercase m in the symbol for slope, or you can use the word slope. And for the last example, I have two larger points again, and the larger points are most efficient to be used in the formula, but when you graph it, you can get a visual representation as well. So 86, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 6, and then negative 1, or 10, 20, 30, going by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 108, over there somewhere. So just kind of to have a sketch of where the location would be. 86, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 86, and then down 37. And what you notice is that 86 is in common for both x values. So we have again 86, and then up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 108 somewhere. The important part is to notice that 86 was the common x value for both. So 86 will be subtracted right here on the denominator. Okay, so when you subtract x values on the denominator and they're the same, that would be 0. So on the numerator I had negative 37, and to subtract 108. And then division by 0 does not exist, but I'll still combine the numbers on the numerator. So 37 plus 108 with a negative, that would be negative 145. But we cannot divide by 0. Therefore, the slope is undefined or not existent. Vertical line, undefined slope. Horizontal line, 0 slope. By plugging in the formula, remember that you cannot divide by 0, and you can always check on the calculator to see that that is not possible.